Oh, thanks for the rose. Nice. We're going to show how we did the visual effect of Cthulhu entering through a death portal to destroy us all in this coming Tuesday's episode, which we'll also announce a big sale for our store then too, 50% off all this stuff. What we are talking about today is sound, specifically how we made all the sound from the opening scene using just things from in and around our studio. And more specifically, how we captured that sound and all the sound in this episode with this new Shure MoveMic 88 Plus, which I already know what you're thinking. But it's not a vape. We think. And right away, I'll tell you that Shure is a partner on this episode and did send me this mic, which I've been using for a bit now, but it has quickly become my favorite mic. We love everything that we review on the show, since if we don't like it, we don't accept the partnership. But this one is possibly my favorite piece of new gear in a while. We're going to take a look at the obvious, which is how this is great for voice recording, like you've heard in the sketch and how you're hearing right now. But the less obvious is how much of a Swiss Army knife this mic is. And what makes it that Swiss Army knife is its multiple polar patterns. You have stereo, cardioid, bidirectional, and raw mid-side. This is a mono pattern, decently directional, taking from the front and canceling out the back. It's what I use for the opening scene and my recording right now. But it's also what I would use if I went handheld with it, since it is wireless. And you see this a lot on TikTok videos, but I think it would be great for events as well. Right, Josh?
Oh my God. Get that out of my face or I'm going to shove it up your ass.
Bidirectional utilizes the two diaphragms inside the mic to record perfect sound from two directions. So you could set two different sources on opposite sides of the mic for something like a podcast or an interview and have what feels like two different focused microphones out of just one. Right, Josh?
So is this a good time to ask for a pay increase?
So as you can hear, we're both coming through very well thanks to that bidirectional focus.
Dude, I'll walk. I'll protest your ass.
The stereo selection allows you to adjust the stereo width of your recording. It works by blending the mid and sides of the capsule, giving you control over how wide or narrow the stereo image is, which you can take from 60 degrees to 135 degrees. And if you put headphones on while listening, you get that three-dimensional space. So I can whisper on this side of the mic and you're gonna hear it on this side and...
Dude, I'm not doing that. This is so weird. And they're probably not even wearing headphones.
We literally just told them to wear headphones. And the last of the four, raw mid-side, is recording on all mics, capturing the mid and side signals separately so you can fine-tune the stereo width in post and not be locked to anything. And it is the flexibility that those selections give you that make this such a solid choice for just about anything, like tossing it into stereo and capturing your own environment sounds like traffic, or a field of some kind, or a restaurant. This thing is small and discreet enough for us to plop on the table at dinner and then use that sound to fill out our fake restaurant scene with our own custom sound of that world. And obviously, sound effects, which for that, I'm shifting between stereo and cardioid a lot, mostly because we didn't have a lot of time and I didn't want to add any extra processing time with raw mid-side in post. Otherwise, I would have stuck with that. But to build out the sounds of Cthulhu, we grabbed a handful of sounds like this train passing, recorded in stereo. I took this into Audition, slowed it down a good amount, reversed it, and added a bit of distortion, delay, and reverb, and some EQ, and I had this sort of underlying bass to anchor the sounds that I was going to put on top of that. And I'd like to take this moment to remind all my sound designers watching that I am not a sound designer. I'm a writer-director who adores sound, so, be cool. But I was going for an odd sci-fi type of sound, which does help since we're going more abstract with it. So we grabbed whatever we could find and started experimenting. Like we have this back massager. So I dangled the mic inside of a water jug and hit the outside of the jug with the massager, which gave us this crazy sound. At times, it does sound like a sci-fi vehicle, and at others, I can hear an odd, almost War of the Worlds roar. Then we used that massager on this piece of tin here, and I was able to sort of play out a performance, shifting the massager around at different points on the tin, giving us this fluctuating thing. That, with just a touch of reverb thrown on, gives us almost this Blade Runner-like drone. And that is nothing but the sound we recorded with that reverb thrown on, which honestly makes me want to do more experimental composing than sound design, but that's for another day. An interesting accident that happened with this tin was when my ring started tapping up against it with that vibration. It gave us this almost electricity feel. It sort of sounds like a mad scientist lab. But then we also hit this garage door with the massager, giving us a similar but crazy sound, which feels sort of like those Hans Zimmer Brahms sounds. And then came the secret weapon.
It's just dry ice.
This gave me a litany of interesting results, holding it to different types of metal, placing it in water for those bubbly sounds, especially dipping it in the water to get that sort of crackle to the water without the cartoonish bubbles, which without a single thing done to this sound, it sounds like a peaceful little creek. Or bacon. Then I walked randomly around the office, touching it to things to see what...
you said what?
The dry ice.
Oh.
Touching it to things to see what that might sound like. And hilariously enough, the coolest sounds came from our front door, the sink, and a ladder. Who knew? I also grabbed some different tension sounds, scratching different elements or trailing a glove down this duct piece to find a crackling that will feel like the tendrils growing closer. I also tried out grabbing some sounds by recording the engine of one of our cars. And while I didn't get anything usable for what we needed here, without any processing at all, it 100% sounds like a projector of some kind. But after all of that, I was done. Well, not done as much as out of time. From there, I brought all the sounds in, cleaned up each in Audition by cutting out what I didn't need, denoising where needed, then built out layers of those different elements until it felt how I wanted. And I used my voice in some shrill dry ice moments to get that echoing cry of the creature. I also looked out on the morning of editing this together where some construction, which is still currently happening, had a very large roaring sound that I was able to capture from my doorway and throw in there as well. And that's because this thing is wireless, connects to my phone immediately, and I'm able to record right to my phone. So I'm able to grab and go to get sounds that I wouldn't have been able to get otherwise because I'd be spending a ton of time setting it up. But just grabbing different items and trying every idea that we thought of led to some really interesting sounds, and several that made us think of other things they could be used for. For instance, at times, the massager on the garage door sounded like a Gatling gun. And that's fun, but I was insanely and pleasantly surprised by the quality of this mic. Everything I threw at it, it handled perfectly. I also love that a mic like this is fully wireless and I can record straight to my phone. And again, it's insanely tiny. Of course, we have a receiver here as well to go straight to the camera. It has a great intuitive menu system that allows you to do everything you need, including changing your stereo spread here. But I find myself connecting to my phone more than the camera to record anything and everything. Inside the app on the phone, you have all your controls here, including your polar patterns, an EQ, solid denoise, and a great record area, which of course I can name all my clips as I go and easily airdrop them to my computer. It's just an insanely versatile, tiny wireless stereo condenser mic with selectable polar patterns that I can monitor either through my mic or my phone or camera, with killer sound quality, making it perfect for everything from voice to environments, sound effects, music, whatever. So like I said before, and as you can tell from all the praise I'm throwing at it, I love this thing. If you are looking for a mic and this seems like it fits your needs, I couldn't recommend this one any more than I am now. And at $300, it's a no-brainer for me. So check the description below for links to all the things. And if you haven't, give custom sounds a try for your next project. Experiment and see what surprising things you come up with. It really is a great way to give a unique sound to your project. But that's it for today. Again, we have the VFX tutorial for today's shot out on Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we put that up. And until then, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.
Ooh, found one. Found one. Okay, coming. Why are you laughing? Why?
I'll see you later. Ta-ta.